I think mentorship is so, so important, and it's something that I've actually studied a lot. I've benefited from excellent mentorship, and I try to provide as much mentorship as I can to my colleagues and trainees. Some of the best advice that I've received about mentorship is really have a diverse team of mentors. I think that it's important to have more than one mentor, and I think one of the most beneficial things for me in terms of the mentors that I've had is that I've sought mentors in different disciplines, and that has really sort of broadened my horizons and helped me in ways that were sort of beyond my imagination to begin with, bringing new perspectives.
One of the best advices I've gotten from a mentor many years ago was, I think a lot of us have kind of seen this, may have seen this one before, is when we're starting to learn something, and we're all students and we're all constantly learning throughout, not just in medical school or in residency or in fellowship, but, it's something that's really lifelong. And it's, when we're starting to learn something, we think that we know absolutely nothing and it's going to take us forever. How are we ever going to learn, all the knowledge that's out there? And then we kind of get to this phase where we learn a good amount and we think we know everything. You kind of know it all. And then, then you get to the third phase where you realize that there's really so much out there that we don't know. We don't even know what we don't know. And that, kind of realizing that entering that phase, that's when you're kind of the expert phase and kind of having that kind of curiosity to constantly seek out knowledge and to constantly learn, that we're not done when we finish our training, that we need to constantly, teach ourselves and kind of seek out new knowledge.
The best advice that I've ever received is a quote that basically says, "Your playing small doesn't serve the world." And it's a quote from Marianne Williamson that's often misattributed to Nelson Mandela. But it was a quote that was first introduced to me when I was in college through a program called the Baldwin Scholars. And the whole idea behind the quote, it's one that starts, "Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, it's that we're powerful beyond measure." But the idea was basically just to, accept your gifts and your talents and to go forth with confidence in what you have to offer, and not kind of worry about how others may perceive you or may be intimidated by that. And basically, by letting your light shine, you give others permission to do the same, and kind of all rising tide lifts all boats. And so it was good advice, particularly because I think it can apply to every different area. It's not just regarding academics or your career or your education, but kind of general life advice that I think has served me well so far.
The best piece of advice I've received from a mentor has to be to give back. Nobody has achieved success in anything by themselves. They've had help along the way. So the advice I was given and what I try to do is give back to the future generation and help them achieve success in their personal and professional lives.
Best piece of advice I ever got from a mentor, and it is hard to follow, but I think it's great. Pay yourself first. Always put your proverbial money in the bank, whether it's actual money, whether it's currency in the bank. Make sure that if you are trying to get yourself promoted, do academic work, write your papers first thing in the morning, do a little bit of writing. If you're trying to save money for your house, your car, your med school loans, put some money aside out of every paycheck and do that. But really make sure that whatever your priority is, that whatever your competing interests are, you take the time or the effort or the allocation of whatever you have and pay yourself first out of that, because it's really hard to go back and make that up retrospectively.
I think the best piece of advice that I received from a mentor is, if you want to know how the patient is doing, ask the patient.